All right, so welcome to TAC Chat number 6. This is Dan. If you like my videos, please subscribe to the page. Hit like. Today I want to talk about the generative principle of care, and I also want to talk about the power positivity movement and how I feel how it helps, but how during times like this I feel it hurts more than helps actually. And I want to talk about the religion of politics and how the social engineers are getting the reactions that they want to get out of their constituents, out of the religion of political followers. And I wasn't gonna do another episode for a while because I wanted to have a well thought out episode. I want to have a better production value and all that other stuff. I'm not used to talking to myself, so it's like I'm more used to talking to people where you can gauge reactions and have that interpersonal exchange. So I'm still behind the curve with technology with this. So I'm kind of doing it and filming it and then throwing it out there because I also want to put it on my YouTube page, my Vimeo page, but I might start doing live feeds pretty soon. So yeah, we're going to talk about all that stuff real quick. I seen something going around today about taking action and doing something tomorrow in all these different cities and taking some kind of action. I'm doing this video like this, it's going to be a quick, maybe 10-15 minute video. Don't take action right now. That's not the right thing to do. Believe me. That's the biggest psyop, wherever that came from. It's the biggest psyop in the history of psyops. Do not give them what they want. Do not take action right now. And with that said, welcome to TAC Chat number 6, and I'm hoping pretty soon I can talk about some cool things and good things and truly spiritual things, and not just the religion of politics. So I'll be right back. All right, so welcome back. So we're going to talk about the generative principle of care today, and I wanted to just put up a disclaimer that if I make any statements that seem to be negative or have been negative, like on my Facebook page, people that are following me, just understand it's because of the generative principle of care, and that is because what we put our attention on is what tends to manifest or focus, and that's what the generative principle of care is about. It's not about, you can't ignore something that's going on that's negative or evil and it's going to just go away. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. But so the generative principle of care would be whatever you put your willpower behind and your care into is what will manifest. And in the New Age community, they have this, there's a saying that they have, it goes something like, what you resist will persist. And what they're trying to say is, from a standpoint of fear, whatever you're in resistance to is what's going to manifest, and that's just simply not true. There's things that will persist, and you need to resist them until they no longer persist. More accurate statement is what you put your attention into is what we tend to manifest, and that takes willpower. Okay, there's nothing magic to it. It's natural law. What you put it's the real law of attraction, right? Causation. Cause and effect. It's the real law of attraction. So what I'm finding in some of the New Age spiritual communities is they have this power of positivity thing going on, and it's got the potential to make people feel bad when they can't always stay positive. Okay, so they feel like if they're having issues about being positive in the first place about something, because they're not jiving with something, and all of a sudden, they're trying to be positive, and then they can't be. they're gonna go into more of a shame spiral about that they can't stay positive. Well, there's probably a reason. You don't want your brain to be, you don't want to form these neural pathways and get addicted to anger, get addicted to negativity. The power of positivity's got a few things right. Like, concentrate on being positive, concentrate on, things that bring you happiness. That's what we're here for, right? I don't think we're here for all this nonsense going on in our world, but we can't stop it right now. I'm going to talk about that a little bit too, about politics. But if I take my mind or take my attention off of something negative and put my attention into, something positive, well, depending on what that negative thing is, it might not go away. So you have to have a little bit of reality based with this, in my opinion. If you look over at, and I'll give you, for instance, if there was something that if I was going to leave my gun unlocked, for instance, and, I left it unlocked, and I left the house, and I remembered, oh man, it's unlocked, my daughter's home. I don't even want to think about that. I don't even want to think about that. That's negative. I'm going to just do what I need to do and concentrate on this. Well, that wouldn't stop the danger or threat. Like, she could very well, kids are known to do that, get guns, and, it happens. I wouldn't want that to happen. So turning around, going back home and locking it up would be the right thing to do. Putting my attention on that, laser focused, to stop that from happening is what I need to do. Okay? So that's not, that's, if you got something dangerous going on, you need to put your focus on it. And we got dangerous stuff going on in the world right now. We're having freedoms taken away. There's things going on where we're not going to get them back. Benjamin Franklin said, if you sacrifice liberty for security, you deserve neither, and you're going to lose both. And that's probably what's going to happen. This whole thing is being politicized, and it's scaring a lot of people. And I'm not going to put my tin hat on. I'm going to leave this hat on. I can come up with all kinds of theories. I can come up with all kinds of stuff, from the G20 summit in October to the protest in Virginia about guns in December, followed by the coronavirus. I can come up with all kinds of, conspiracy theories. I'll let other people do that for now. I'm not gonna do that. But the general principle of care is what you put your focus on and what you care about positively is going to manifest. But that doesn't mean we ignore that which is negative, because that's not putting power into the negative or putting power into this good thing by ignoring what's negative. You're putting power into the ignorance of this negative thing that's going on. So pretending it's not there isn't going to make it go away, okay? I'm not saying to constantly dwell on it, but we need to do something about it sooner or later. And the generative principle of care is what we put our attention behind, and what we put our will and determination into is what's going to allow us to accomplish what we want to accomplish. We're going to manifest that which we want to manifest. And I think collectively, in the aggregate, humanity is manifesting what it's manifesting now, because we're not living according to natural law. We're letting our narcissistic side come out in the aggregate. The ego's there, run amok, and no one could be wrong, okay? And that's part of the problem. So the power of positivity movement, and I've seen it with a few people, is, hey, we're going to stay positive all the time because, well, first off, being negative is a drag. So, one good thing I'll say about trying to develop a positive mindset about things is that's the only thing we can control, right? We can control our attitude. We can control how we respond to something, and don't allow ourselves to get put into this reactionary mode. So being positive and developing, positive habits, which is going to form good neural pathways and good habits. That's all a habit is. The power of positivity is, excuse me, I worked out. The power of positivity is very good, but paying attention to something negative that's dangerous is actually a positive thing. You know what I'm saying? It's not a negative thing. It's negative, but paying attention to it is positive. It's not going to go away on its own. So, I hope this doesn't come across as, offensive, because I'm not trying to be offensive. But this is what I think when I hear somebody saying that they want to, be positive all the time, when it's impossible. First of all, it's not in human nature. Our minds, it takes work, okay? But it takes a lot of work when the country's in this kind of fear in these unprecedented times, and, we're being locked down. Like, this is insane. It's crazy, right? It's, I don't have enough. I don't even think I have enough words in my vocabulary to describe how nuts this is, right? And this is really should be for another slide, not for the power of positivity. But what the power of positivity basically boils down to, if you're going to ignore dangers or threats, instead of using preventative maintenance to keep those things from happening, or taking action, okay? I think the power of positivity will lull you into being tranquil, and you won't take action when you need to take action, okay? There's a time you have to take action. So, what power of positivity is to me, what it boils down to really, it's cognizant dissonance. And the term cognizant dissonance is used to describe the feelings of discomfort that result when your beliefs run counter to your behaviors and or new information that is presented to you. Basically, when something is just so uncomfortable, you want to just pretend like it's not happening, okay? That's what cognizant dissonance is. That doesn't make things better. It's a checkout from reality is what it is. And we all need that. What do I got over here? So I check out from reality from time to time. I got books I read, right? So these are comic books. You got to check out from reality. I check out from reality quite a bit. And, reading comic books is cool. In between studying, there's books that I'm reading to, further my education and research. So I'm not saying checking out with some fantasy stuff or stuff like that isn't it actually is a good thing right now. We need to, I think, escape from that. The last 2 days, I have not watched the news, and I'm feeling great. Other than some stuff I'm seeing on Facebook, which is something I need to get away from too. It's funny how Facebook is it's turned into the biggest propaganda machine ever. And I wonder why. I'm having some conspiracy theory thoughts about that. And I promised I wasn't going to put my tinfoil hat on, so I'm not going to get into any of that now. But this is basically, to me, cognizant dissonance is the result of the power of positivity. If you're going to be negative and not positively focus on something that could be dangerous or threatening, So, that's all I'm going to say about that. So what I want to talk about now is the religion of politics and what's going on. And I'm no political expert. I consider myself to be apolitical. I've stumbled into political conversations or threads and have been jumped on by people, and I didn't even realize it was something political. With that said, I can't say I'm apolitical anymore. I'm not in the center as much as I thought I was. I'm probably leaning a little bit more right lately. But I don't filter any of my decisions through whatever political party they align with. I just don't do that. I don't filter my opinions in that manner. And religion, to me, the religion of politics, religion comes from the Latin word religare, which means to bind, to hold back, to thwart from forward progress, okay? So politics is definitely a religion, a dogmatic religion. And the social engineers have kind of designed political followers to have some predetermined reactions, okay? And they start throwing these things out there fast at you, right? This is how PSYOPs work. This is the biggest PSYOP I've ever seen in my entire life. And they throw stuff at you so much that they get you into a reactionary mode, and then they get the opposites or their political adversaries into a reactionary mode, and they get the reactions that they want from their constituents. And this is just, to me, people are just asleep to this. They're completely asleep. They're on automatic pilot when it comes to politics. And you don't break any of their sacred cows. I'm watching fathers and sons hate each other over political riffs. and different idealisms with politics and with what they believe. Okay, I'm seeing it tear apart families. It's definitely tearing apart the country. You know, this is a time where we need to come together. We need to come together and we need to demand some political reform. You know, serious political reform. This is the reaction that they want to get from you. They want you to be mad. And once they've got you in an emotional state, they're going to win. You know, you can't win an argument if you're all angry and emotional. There's a time for anger, and there's a time for anger to be righteous, but don't be addicted to it. Just being angry doesn't automatically make you right. A lot of people just get addicted to the adrenaline dump of anger, and they think it's going to scare people or do whatever. You know, it's not going to. Anger doesn't affect me, you know, it doesn't affect a whole lot of people out there. But sometimes it will cause other people to get more angrier, and it's not gonna, it's just not good. So the politics is looking to do this, and this is something that I wrote. I threw it up on my Facebook page at one point, and it's all government is slavery, and no human is higher than any other. Okay, I mean, you guys, you can, if you're looking at this, you can read it. But politics isn't the cause of this problem. Politics is to me a symptom of a bigger problem within humanity, and that is it's ego run amok. Greed and ego run amok. You know, you have to look beneath the surface at what's going on in the world. You know, my opinion is there's some big players in this world working together. Okay, they're working together to facilitate an end. And they're putting their willpower and determination behind getting that end done. And I think there's more partisan cooperation. Okay, I'll put my tinfoil hat on now. I believe there's some partisan cooperation, but it doesn't matter because the religious constituents of the religion of politics will keep fighting each other, and they'll keep doing what they need to do to facilitate that divide. Divide and conquer, man. This is Sun Tzu's art of war, okay? So I want to talk real quick about PSI-OPs. And I'll give a brief background on myself. I went into the Marine Corps during the first Gulf War. I did security forces, stationed at the U.S. Naval Academy for anti-terrorism stuff and ceremonial support, some cool stuff. Had a little bit of training, but not a lot. You know, I was infantry, but I didn't get into it. I wasn't special forces or any of that other stuff. But then I got out, and as a cop, I worked some plainclothes stuff, and I worked in a prison. And everything in a prison, man, you want to talk about people who could be very manipulating. Put human beings into a place where they have nothing but 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to plan on how they're going to get over on you. Okay? You start to look beneath the surface of what's going on. You start to look at things. Why is this happening? You know, there's a lot of distractionary techniques that go on out there in PSYOPs. So, real quick, PSYOPs are designated or designed to influence the perceptions and attitudes of individuals, groups, and foreign governments. Psychological operations. Military operations usually aimed at influencing the enemy's state of mind through non-combative means, such as distribution of leaflets. Okay, what it boils down to is PSYOPs is about mind control. It's about influencing your behavior. And if you don't think mind control works, then what's marketing for? Okay, I don't know if anyone noticed any of this stuff. There's been no political ads going on, none. Yet every time you do turn on the TV, besides the news bombarding you with this virus, there's commercials everywhere. I mean, there's got to be $1 billion campaign in commercials. That's, to me, raises a few questions. You know, in police work, we'd call that a clue. You know, that kind of, where's all that money coming from? Why is it happening? You know, they're propagating fear. And I'm not saying that this virus isn't a bad thing. It's a terrible thing. You know, I'm not saying people aren't dying. I don't know. They're not. I can tell you from what I'm hearing, hospitals aren't full and packed. So, but I can see why, people don't want to go to them because they're afraid they're going to get the coronavirus. So there's probably a lot of stuff going on. I haven't been to every hospital. I don't know. I'm not going to act like I know if this whole thing is some type of you know, faked pandemic, because that would be a real smack in the face to anyone who's lost a family member to this. And my heart goes out to anybody who's lost a family member to this virus. There's something to be said about herd immunity. We're exposed to it. Healthy people, most of us are going to survive it and will develop, natural immunity. I don't like that it's being, there's a lot of stuff I don't like about it, but just understand that this is what PSYOPs are, okay? A PSYOP is aimed at influencing you, okay? And in PSYOPs, within PSYOPs, you have a couple different things. And the first thing is misinformation. So misinformation is put out there, and it's not put out there on purpose, which is why I'm trying not to get, I'm keeping the tinfoil hat off as much as possible, because I don't have evidence or proof of nothing. You read so much stuff, and I'm seeing propaganda come in from both sides. One side pushes in one direction, the other side makes up for it by pushing really hard in the opposite direction. So they end up just exaggerating really badly in both directions. And it's just nothing but get the other side mad. And that's what I think they're trying to do as they take our rights away. So misinformation, it's not put out there with any malintent, but it's accidentally put out there. It's mistaken information that's put out there to try to help, but it's not helping, it's hurting, okay? So misinformation gets put out there by people with good intentions, but it's wrong, erroneous information, okay? The other part of propaganda, and this is the bad part of propaganda, and we get a lot of this from our government, because the government lies, okay? And it's disinformation, okay? It says right here, it comes from the Russian word disformantia, and refers to false information that is deliberately intended to deceive. So there is a lot of disinformation that gets put out there from both political parties on purpose to facilitate a reaction. And if you notice how they roll out a PSYOP, it's one thing after the other. They're not real, it's almost like checkers to me. If you know what you're looking for, if you know what you're watching, you know what you're looking for. There's no time frame. Their time frame is, it's boom, boom, boom. I can almost see it coming ahead of time, okay? I need to get more in depth into this. The main reason why I wanted to do this real quick podcast today, I'm not even know where I'm at in the time. Where am I at? Oh God, I'm already at 20 minutes. Jesus. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean it to be this long. The main reason why that I wanted to do this podcast today, I need to throw this out there real quick, is because I've been seeing this pop up on, and this is my main thing. This has been popping up on Facebook all over. No more lockdowns, a global march for freedom tomorrow, right? From 2 to 5 p.m. Every city hall. They want you going to every city hall, and they're putting all this stuff out there. Listen, man, this is exactly what they want you to do. I want you to think. Just think. I'm not telling you what to think. I'm just telling you to think. How everything is gone, on how more and more and more freedoms are being taken away. What do you think will happen if on Easter Sunday a bunch of places have this happen? I'm almost afraid of, there's one time when I was in the Marine Corps, we did this training exercise. And the training exercise was an explosion, and we had to respond to this terrorist attack, and there was an explosion, and there was terrorists, and we get there, we're responding, and we're setting up a perimeter around, where they've got hostages, and all of a sudden these crisis actors come out holding arms with blood spurting out, like it was like a Hollywood level stuff they had going on. And I got my adrenaline flowing, and I knew it was fake. So this was 25 years ago, man. Shit. But anyways, I don't know if there'll be crisis actors in this. Again, that'd be tinfoil hat stuff. But I've been seeing this go around. What do you think is going to happen if we do this? That will give them the excuse at this point to really institute much stricter things like martial law. And we don't want to give them that excuse right now. Now is not the time for action. If the time for action comes, okay, as I talked about in the generative principle of care, and we put our willpower behind some type of positive action to keep our freedoms, that needs to happen. But now isn't the time to be doing this. This is just flexing. It's like they're putting this out on purpose, and they want this to happen. That can bring about the next thing they want to do, which is going to be martial law. This is a bad idea, and I just wanted to put that out there and tell you, don't do this. This is the biggest PSI-OP in the history of PSYOPs. I really think there's people pulling the strings, and there's more partisan politics going on than you believe. And that's my tin hat opinion on this, okay? Because this is unprecedented, completely. All right? And definitely something's going on. So if this has been going around on Facebook, Yellow Bass Rebellion, yeah, don't do this. Now's not the time. Give it a couple more weeks. Give it a little more time. So that's basically all I wanted to say. Just give it a little more time, man. And, you know, prayers for everybody. Try to not be too bored sitting at home. Exercise. Drink a lot of water. Water's good. Peace.